Hey guys, it's Ossiana's Creator Life, and today I'm going to have a major question I keep getting. It is a pretty simple one, actually. It's when are you supposed to start asking people to pay for your content? As a content creator, this is one of the most aggravating questions I always get because the answer is really simple. As soon as you start. I'm not even kidding. Like everybody's sitting there, they're like, "Oh, well, maybe I need to get some more traction before people pay me. Maybe I should be, ramping up stuff. Maybe I need to make it spicier. Maybe I need to make it more provocative. Maybe I need to offer more value." No. Let me explain to you something. You need to start asking immediately. So let's talk about why you need to ask immediately. And the answer is very simple. If you keep providing content for free, eventually people are going to expect that of you. It's the same thing as working. Would you mow people's lawns for free just to prove that you're worth paying? No. What you're doing is you're providing a service. And while you shouldn't obligate everyone to buy immediately right off the bat without offering some like form of value, some form of entertainment, the truth is that there is absolutely nothing wrong, pardon me, with I'm not even gonna edit that out because I'm really exhausted. But there's nothing wrong with asking to be paid for work that you've done. And content creation is work. It may be fun work for some, but it is still work. And one of the things that I've noticed, especially around YouTubers and bloggers, particularly those who are from, I'd say, medium, and I'd also say just like some of the more social aspects of the blogging arena is that they get upset when they find out that I make a full-time living off of this. It may not be much of a full-time living, but I still do make a full-time living. And I've been called entitled for getting angry when Medium slashed its payouts the other year, when I got upset that I was not making ends meet. And they're like, well, you're so entitled. Nobody should expect to get paid for their blogging. If that's the way that you feel about it, why are you blogging? Why are you monetizing your stuff on Medium then? Why are you so upset when somebody else is doing better than you? The truth is that everyone who creates content is boosting a website in one way or another. It's promoting a website, whether you realize it or not. You growing your fandom is work. You growing the amount of eyes on your stuff is work. And anybody who tells you differently is lying to your face. You absolutely do deserve to have a full time living. Let's talk a little bit more about the why of you getting paid. First off, content creation, regardless of whether it's blogging or vlogging or OF or anything like that, it is going to cost you money to get launched. It doesn't matter if it's just because you need a newer computer, if you need one of these little microphones that I actually just picked up. I was like, I should probably do that. So yeah, if you need a microphone, if you need an actual camera, if you need a smartphone to be able to upload your stuff, if you need editing software such as Canva for your social media, your videos, your little podcasts, all of these things add up. And the more that you do content creation, the more those bills will add up. If you do not ask for money while you're doing this, then you're going to have a lot of problems affording it. Even if you're very passionate, even if you're on automatic payouts from like YouTube, from Medium. I know because as somebody who does enjoy Medium and actually makes the bulk of their money off of that, um, it is one of those things where if I was not a content creator, I would have a very hard time understanding how much it actually costs to run a business as a content creator. And if you're talking about some of the more visual things, such as like, working on like a platform like OF, or even the one that I was vice president of marketing for, XChat fans, you're going to come into costs. Even if you do not want to ask for money, it behooves you. It is a smart business decision to ask for money from your fans. Besides, I'll let you in on a little secret. A lot of your fans actually do want to support you. And if you don't give them a way how, it weirdly enough, it seems to upset some of them. And I speak about this as somebody who's actually seen it person to person.
Now that we've gone over the why, let's ask a little bit about the how to ask for money. So, as many people know, there are certain platforms that automatically give you money if you get a certain amount of followers, if you get a certain amount of views. Those include Medium, YouTube. I think that's actually it. In the spicy world, there's a couple that pay out based on how many ads are viewed when your content is being viewed. And all of those automatic ad payouts, you're going to get them regardless of whether or not you ask for money. And it's a great starter because when you get those first couple of payouts, I've noticed a lot of people gain a lot more confidence into asking people for money. And if that's what you need to do, by all means do it. Medium actually gave me the confidence to start asking people for money. I have no problem admitting that. That is one of the things I'm very grateful for that platform to do. Now, once you start getting the automatic income like Google AdSense and stuff like that, you're going to want to increase the amount of money that you're getting as a content creator. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. First, you can always ask for tips. I use Buy Me a Coffee for my tips. Also, Co-Fi Coffee. That's another popular one. You can see the buttons right here. And they've been great in terms of helping me get money, helping people send one off support, one off donations. That kind of stuff makes a huge difference when it comes to your month to month. It doesn't sound like a lot, but over the course of me using Buy Me a Coffee, I've been using it for about 4 years. I've gotten around $2,000 to $3,000. I think I'm gonna have to look it up, but that money, it adds up. And sometimes just asking for a tip, that's usually the start of being more aggressive when you start asking for what you truly deserve. And trust me, ask and you shall receive shall be the whole of the law. It may take a while to get those first couple of subscribers or those first couple of tippers, but that's going to be the case with anybody. Now, let's talk a little bit about paid subscriptions. These became way more popular once OF and Substack started to really kick off. Nowadays, almost every newsletter I see that has over 100K views, they have a paid subscription model, even if they don't paywall anything. And you might be wondering why they do that. It's very simple. Remember when I said before, your fans want to support you. Your fans want to see you succeed. So, by just offering paid subscriptions, even if you don't have any particular paywalled items or any particular bonus content, that's a way to give them the opportunity to support you. You have to ask for them to support you. And now I'm going to point out the obvious. Most major platforms that work with content creators, they already have a paid subscriber option. YouTube, after a certain point, you can ask for paid subscribers. Substack, Avi. XChat fans, obvious. OF, obvious. Pretty much anything that involves a paid model for creators is going to have a subscription that you can partake in. And I absolutely advise anyone who is a content creator to go that route. But there's a couple of other ways that you can ask for money and you can make a full time living as a content creator, and I'm going to go into them next. So, now that we've gone over the two, three most basic ways that people make money off of their content, let's talk a little bit about some of the less obvious ones. Now, I think that I'm not alone when I say that, most people have seen people on YouTube touting various products. Some of the ones that were really big in the past were HelloFresh. I think that there was Purple Mattress. There was a couple of spicy toys that also made a lot of brand deals with a lot of different people. And those brand deals, they're actually affiliate marketing. And affiliate marketing goes very simple. You give your clients a discount code, say, hey, this really cool thing is let's pretend that this is the product. This is a candle and it's the coolest candle ever. And you know what? You can support me and you can also try this amazing candle for only $10.99. And if you use this code, Oceana Makes Content, at that candle store, you get an additional 15% off. It's a win-win because your fans get to try whatever product that you're touting, you get paid, they get a discount. So people can actually track where the discounts are coming from. Most people who I know who have brand deals or who end up becoming spokesmodels for certain things, they absolutely do get paid. However, that tends to be it's a matter of influencer marketing. And the more influence you have, the more likely it is that you're going to see some serious big paychecks in it. As far as how many followers you need, this really depends on the brand. Most people who I know who do influencer marketing, who do paid advertising, they have to have at least, I'd say, 30,000 followers before they can really like clinch a really decent brand deal. The only time that that's not true is when I see brands that have an open door policy, and those tend to be either spicy or cybersecurity or even things like Amazon. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. But once you grow to that point, asking for brand deals, already trying to do affiliate sales, get on that as soon as possible because you have no idea whether or not it's going to pop off. Depending on what your niche is, it could. Next is the one which you're most likely going to see from people who are in anime, in gaming, or in similar routes, and that's merch. Merch can come in a lot of different forms. I personally am probably going to end up releasing a book of some of my greatest hits on my writing accounts, and that's going to be my form of merch. If not, have a couple of different coffee cups with sayings that you people tend to see me say a lot, like so and dude and oh that's scavy. Um those kinds of things, they do sell, especially like if your content tends to be very graphics oriented. I know that Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss's creator Vivzy Pop, she actually helped fundraise for her content to continue and for her to pay a staff through all of that merch that she's been rolling out with. And not for nothing, it's some really beautiful merch. Finally, there's the other major hike that you can have, and that's consulting. Consulting is a great choice if you are a business minded person, if you have a lot of experience in your field, if you have like specific services that you want to tout. Consulting is where it's at. And this involves a sale pitch. You have to be like, okay, so now that you've seen my expertise, now that we've had a lot of fun, I just want you to know that if you want me to help fix your business, or if you want me to help you find funding, please contact this. Let's talk about how I can consult for you and how I can like make your life better with my knowledge. It's very simple. It's a very simple pitch, and it can book you tens of thousands of dollars. Um I personally have used my own social media accounts as a way of getting freelance clients. I've been able to get people to consult with me over a variety of different things. And I think over the course of my time on Upwork, because I've used my Medium account to advertise my Upwork, I've made about $70,000 over the course of a couple years. So it does work. It just all depends on how you spin it. There's a million different ways that you can sell yourself, sell merchandise, sell your knowledge, and also sell other people's merch as a content creator. It's important to remember that. Now that we've actually gone through the easiest ways to ask for money from your like fans to start monetizing a little bit more aggressively, we have to talk about the ask. And this is going to be one of the toughest things for people to do because for most of us, we've always been taught to not ask for money, to not talk about money, to keep sweet and to be nice, depending on like, a number of factors, including your background. It's considered to be very rude in mainstream society to talk about money. It's the same reason that you don't really hear people talking about like how bad their budget is. That's actually something that started back in the 1920s, and it was done by the wealthy class to get people to stop talking and sharing information about how much they're making, because that kind of talk used to lead to people unionizing, calling out companies on unfair wages, and unfortunately, it's bled through into American society, American fiber. And we're right now at a tipping point in our society where we're realizing, you know what? Not talking is not solving the problem. And it was one of the hardest things for me to do. It still is hard for me to ask people for money directly. But I'm starting to get over it because, my back is to the wall in a lot of cases. And let's just face it, I need that money. And I work very hard, so I deserve that money. And that's something that I have to continually tell myself. And it's something that a lot of people in my situation also have to tell themselves. So let's talk about the actual ask. You remember how many different YouTubers will sit there and tell you, like, share, and subscribe if you like my content? It's the same deal. They pretty much do this all the time because the more that you ask, the more likely it is that they're going to see a conversion into a subscriber or even a paid subscriber. Speaking as somebody who has learned to do it myself, I do prompt everybody, at least at the start of the blog posts I make, to like, share, subscribe, and recommend, or consider to become a paid subscriber. And it works. What else am I supposed to say? It works. Um, a lot of people who I noticed have a hard time asking for money or have a hard time touting their own products. They end up a little bit scared, I want to say, to really ask the question. And the biggest life hack I've ever heard, this actually came from one of my readers, Amy, is to act like it's an acting role. You're not playing you when you're asking for money. No, you're playing somebody else. You just have the same name, but it's a different character. This character is a lot more confident, and you know what? They work at a sales firm. So of course you're going to want to get a little bit salesy. You're going to be like, "Oh, come on, just join our paid subscriber route. Just join our, paid community. Take a look at what you get if you pay me. Take a look at this really cool merch." Don't be afraid to talk yourself up. And don't be afraid to show people how much they're getting for their money. Now, for me, I like to just tell people, hey, if you like to support my writing, if you like to support my content, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you have a lot of people talking about me. This helps me not only make a living, it helps me rebuild my life. It helps me continue to do content because, burnout is a thing. If you're currently touting classes, which is another big form of consulting that I see a lot in blogging, don't be afraid to be like, look, this class is filling up fast. If you want to learn how to do X, Y, and Z, please start start subscribing now because there might not be spaces left. The sooner that you get upfront about it and the sooner you get into that mindset of, okay, this isn't me, this is the sales version of me, and I'm a rock star salesman, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to actually get those conversions and to make a living writing or blogging or videographing or through your photography or through modeling, whatever it is. But you have to ask, even if you don't feel comfortable with it. Just ask. The worst that they can say is no. The best that they can say is yes. When you take a look at those odds, you actually have everything to gain and nothing to lose by just asking. Finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the other issue that I have, which is dealing with rejection, dealing with naysayers, and dealing with people calling you entitled for expecting you to work for free. Now, here's the thing, whether people like it or not, content is a service. You're boosting other people's SEO, you're boosting your own name, you're boosting your own brand, and that matters. That matters a lot. And if you get a lot of people who are like, nah, I could never like really support you. I see this a lot in the spicy industries, if you know what I mean, where people almost wear it like a badge of honor that they don't pay for the content that they're consuming. Um, First off, those aren't your actual clients. They might be good for promoting you, And that's fine, but those aren't your actual clients. You're not doing your work for them. So if you see them trying to egg you on, trying to ask for more, 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 literally just tell them, no, that's not what this is about. That's not what my performance is about. That's not what my content is about. I only do that for paid subscribers. It's about keeping those boundaries because the more that you let people wear you down in this industry, the worse you're going to get paid. And I ought to know because it's happened to me multiple times. One of the things that I've learned is that if your audacity is greater than others, you get rewarded for it in the content industry. You need to start asking as if you're expecting them to pay because honestly, they should be paying you, or at least a decent amount of people should be paying you. You are providing a service, even if it's like something as saucy pinups or music. If you worked hard at it, you should expect people to admire it and to occasionally try to support you. And you have to remember that not all support is financial. Sometimes it's a matter of just sharing your stuff. I have a couple of fans who they restack my stuff. Be grateful when people support your stuff. Be grateful when people shout you out because you know what? You never know who that person might know, who ends up falling in love with your writing and or your content, whatever it may be. And you never know who ends up being that one person who helps you pay the bills this month. You know what I mean? Now, the other issue that I see is that there's a lot of like negative people, and I've mentioned this before. They call you entitled. They say you can't be serious. This has to be so much better before anybody, pays you. And the best way to deal with them is blocking them. Um, I realize that being a content creator tends to put you in the public spotlight and it tends to make you a human punching bag. I've seen it. There are people who have made entire YouTube videos just hating me for some of my feminist work. And you know what? That is fine. They're not my target audience. They are not the type of people who, one, I would associate with, and two, who I'd try to chase their approval because they're already showing that they don't have anything of value to bring to me, even as a parasocial relationship. They are adamant that they're not going to support you. So rather than let them live rent free in your head, just be like, you know what? On to the next. I don't have to deal with this. Cut it off. You'll be surprised at how quickly you get used to just kind of shrugging off the rejections that you feel. Um, the best way to make sure that you don't fall into the trap of like getting desperate, chasing for a yes out of people who've already said no, is to one, keep moving on, and two, have a steady source of income outside of content creation, at least for the start. Because that way you don't have to actually, quote unquote, sing for your dinner and get locked up with golden handcuffs where you can't really actually say no to projects and stuff that you don't want to actually do. The more that you end up feeling cornered and feeling desperate, the more you tend to actually the more that you tend to actually fail at content creating because that desperation does pull through. So that pretty much just wraps up my little tutorial on asking for money, how to ask for money, why you should ask for money. If any of this resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe, and maybe buy me a coffee.